Interlake Municipal Rec.
Oh,
Yeah. I thought in case someone else was interested to go.
We're good.
Go ahead.
Madam Mayor, we're going to come out of camera. Resolved that as per section 152(4) of the Municipal Act, Council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular meeting.
Moved by Councillor Bazarowicz, second please, Councillor Belanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so going back to our agenda, we're going into the communications for action, and we do have a couple there. There's the invitation from the Legion to participate in the Remembrance Day ceremony.
Yes, Madam Mayor, there, as you mentioned, the request is for the participation specifically of the mayor and any other delegates that may want to attend the event, and it'll be on November 11th, and they're requesting for attendance at 10 a.m. And to confirm by our attendance to that event.
Thank you very much. Yes, I will be going. Any other members of council? I know that there's a couple of you going to Grand Marais, I believe. And I'm not sure, we normally get an invitation also from Broken Head for Aboriginal Veterans Day, but I don't recall seeing anything.
not yet. A week, 2 days before.
Well, I think they mentioned on Saturday that it's the 8th of November. It's before, so.
We'll keep an eye out for it, and if need be, if it comes in, and what we can always do is have people attend and then bring it forward to
Yeah.
the future council.
Thank you.
So, resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn be authorized to attend the Royal Canadian Legion Selkirk Branch number 42 Remembrance Day service at the Selkirk Recreation Complex on November 11th, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second Councillor Horbis. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, the next one is the invitation to participate in the City of Selkirk Santa Parade of Lights.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is the 18th annual Santa Claus Parade, and we always have our float, and many of the council members do participate. It'll be from 6:30 to 8:30, and keep in mind that the Selkirk Bridge will be closed as part of this, so we can make sure that people get there on time and then a location to meet.
Okay.
So I can bring forward the resolution for the
Please.
attendance.
Yeah.
So resolved that Mayor Feeblecorn, Councilors David Sutherland, David Orbis, and Sandra Strang be authorized to attend the 18th annual Santa Claus Parade of Lights 2025 in the city of Selkirk on November 29th, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Horbis seconds. All in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Just on another note, and I see it's not on the agenda, perhaps I should have forwarded it. I did get an invitation from the St. Peter's Dynevor Church that they're having their carol services on the same weekend, the 28th and 29th. I'll forward it for the next meeting.
And will you sing?
Pardon
Will
me?
you be singing?
I won't be singing, but I'll be reading. Go ahead with this one, please.
The next one is the Interlake Municipal Recreation Association invitation at the Town of Stonewall Council Chambers, and that will be on November 3rd between 6 and 8 p.m.
Okay, I have been going to that, but I put it on the agenda in case there was anybody else that might be interested to attend. If this is just one of the meetings, it's not a presentation or their award ceremony or anything like that, so.
It's just a regular.
Just a regular meeting, yeah, but you know what, it's good to have other people there too. I always find that it's better, so,
When is that?
November 3rd in Stonewall.
Third.
yeah. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I'm not available that day, but could we even offer Brandon to go?
What I was gonna see is if Brendan could give a bit of a report that could be presented, because I know they always go around the table and ask what's going on in your community, and sometimes I'm just kind of winging it. So if he could prepare a little bit of a report of what we've got coming up in
Sure.
the next while, that
We can
would be good, and he's more than welcome to attend.
Did they always have it in Stonewall?
Yes, it's always in.
They don't move it around or
No.
anything? Okay, so.
So resolve Mayor of Peeble be authorized to attend the Interlake Municipal Recreation Association meeting at the town of Stonewall on November 3rd, 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Sutherland, second, please. Counselor Strang, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question, all in favor, opposed, carried. The next one we have, we're moving on now to new and other business. Number 6 on our agenda, 6.1, an easement agreement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now, we've had multiple agreements come forward on the Tuchinski subdivision, specifically related with easements. Many of that was related to when the subdivision was first approved, and there was still continued land drainage works, and there were various properties. This is dealing with specifically the properties where the pond that was developed for retention and then management for their stormwater for the entire subdivision. And so we originally had requested for that area for our easement purposes to be made available to the RM, but we came to a final conclusion that it would be just as an easement. And this is the recommendation that the administration moves forward on this easement for this land drainage, which is basically a pond in front of these properties. It's a linear pond.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
So the owner would own the pond, but we could have access to it at any time if we need to. Is that correct?
The owner, the property owner would be required, there's 3 property owners that are that the pond is in front of their properties. And so they'll be the owners of it, but the lease will, easement will make sure that it's being used for drainage purposes. And a lot of the time, it's not going to be a pond. Most often, it'll be as just a dip in the front there, depending on what the intent there is, just for retention during heavy storm events
What's it?
and spring.
It's a big tip.
Yes.
It's huge. So it's 2 acre lots. Is that gonna affect that they have a septic field over there too? Will they still be able to do that with that pond there, or how does that work?
That might affect them. That'll be something the province will have to take a look at and see.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're recommending a resolution to come forward on this, and if there's no further questions, I'll move forward with the resolution, Madam Mayor.
We'll go right ahead, please.
So, whereas the road municipality of St. Clements has conditionally approved the subdivision at 16-2662 on December 15, 2016, and whereas the easement agreements are required for drainage, and it required the owners to sign the agreement, whereas the following owners will be entering into the easement agreement with the road municipality of St. Clements as outlined below. Lot 4, Plan 68421, Maverick Investments Limited, and Lot 29, Plan 68421, Robert and Lorraine Van, Gerwin. Therefore be it resolved, Council of the Road Municipality of St. Clements authorize the signing of the easement agreement.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowitz, second, please. Counselor Boulanger. Any further discussion?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
When this is completed, are all of the requirements done for the subdivision?
We are still working with the developer, right, and I had meetings on it as of today. I can update council as this has to do with legal agreements and so forth in camera.
Okay.
Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And the next item on our agenda is the Community Foundation.
Yes, the Community Foundation has their annual donation and giving challenge. And this year they are asking for us to participate as we did last year, which was with $500 for the giving challenge. And the donation dollars are stretched by both the Winnipeg Foundation and Manitoba government. Stretched meaning that for every $5 invested or donated, it'll be turned into $7 with funding coming from the foundation, Winnipeg Foundation and the Manitoba government. So $500 $100 would turn into $700. So, as opposed to being matched, which you tend to hear, this time it's stretched.
So you're saying 500 would turn into 7? It wouldn't be 500 plus 700?
No, it would be 500 turned into 700.
So it's not even that, it's not even dollar for dollar, it's less.
Correct. That's why stretched.
40%.
Okay, any questions, comments?
You have a resolution for
You say.
Can you stretch out that resolution?
that?
Resolve council approve the donation of $500 to the Selkirk and District Community Foundation during Endow Manitoba Giving Challenge.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second. Councillor Sutherland, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a road renaming.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this is a bit of a unique situation that's occurred for a while. And what happened was a road sign was came down and we were requested to replace it. We went to replace it, obviously. We went to the Public Works records and replaced it with the registered name of the road. But that isn't actually what was put on that road many, many years ago. The residents raised this as an issue, saying they've been used to having the name road and named Rica as R-I-C-A, as opposed to what it was originally registered and under land titles and so forth as R-I-C-I-A road. And so there's only 2 residents in the property, but it's gone back and forth. Now, we are legally obligated to only put the proper sign. Obviously, there was an error in the past. In order to correct this, we have to go through a road renaming bylaw and a road renaming policy. We have a road renaming policy, and according to that, we are recommending that we move forward and rename it to what it has been seen as. Now, unfortunately, this has happened as an example. There's misinformation out there already, because Google Maps, as an example, has it as the wrong name. And in some places, it's the right name. So it's been confusing, so this will correct all that. And the residents would prefer to keep it as what it was originally mistakenly put up as. Many years ago, I think we're looking, how many years ago?
Quite a few.
89, I think it was.
1989, not 89 years.
House cleaning.
This is a house cleaning
It's
situation.
always been, as you said,
Yeah, it's been seen as Rica Road.
the
so
sign's
we
always
went in-
been there.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to change it to R-I-C-A.
Correct, as opposed to how it was originally subdivided and registered on the
Yeah.
plan as R-I-C-I-A. And the residents were very diligent, and they even brought up some Google Earth pictures and Google Map pictures, Street View pictures that showed R-I-C-A.
It's always,
R-I-C-A.
it's always been there,
Yeah,
always been.
so.
Okay, so we'll be having a bylaw brought forward to change that. So this is more for information.
Oh, no, there's a resolution to
Oh,
move
okay.
forward because council has to give us
Okay,
authority. Resolve, administration be directed to prepare a draft bylaw to rename RICIA Road to RICA Road and return the draft bylaw to council for consideration. Upon adoption of the bylaw, administration is further directed to replace signage, update municipal systems, notify relevant agencies, and mapping platforms.
thank you for that. Moved by Councillor Bazarowicz, second please. Councillor Strang, any further discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this, the naming of the road, was it a family name or something in the area? Does anybody know?
I don't believe that.
No, I just
Might have been.
Time.
Might have been the subdivision owners, the creation of the road, but at this point, since 1989, it's been that way, so we're recommending. Otherwise, if we're going to rename it to the new name, then we have to go through with those proper property owners and compensate them, because we're changing the name from what it was, because they have licenses, addresses, and so forth to the old or to the wrong name, and yet the right name is in other systems.
It's nothing to do with the road condition,
Road is in reasonable condition.
That was registered back in 2000, so,
At least 25 years old.
yeah,
Oh, it's a gravel road?
Correct.
yes, it is. Gravel Road.
I'm not gonna say it, this is being recorded, I'll shut up. Somebody just
That was-
texted me something.
That was, Mr. Conway made that subdivision, so, okay.
So, I've
We need a mover.
mover and
No,
second.
That's
Okay,
not,
I thought we had a
Did we
mover.
do
We have the
and
mover
second.
sucker, we just need,
Okay, got a mover, got a seconder, had the discussion, I'm gonna call the question, all in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay,
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I have
8.4, I guess we are at.
correct. So, what we have here on 8.4 is the Joint Infrastructure Committee with the arm of East St. Paul. So, there were 2 resolutions passed with the arm of East St. Paul. The first one was passed in 2024, and the resolution was for us to get into working together with the municipalities together to look at sharing infrastructure. Originally, it was discussed that there might be opportunities for maybe sharing some infrastructure with the Arm of St. Clements, and also vice versa when the Arm of St. Or East St. Paul would expand on their infrastructure for their water and sewer systems. It might benefit our lands in the south part of our community where they would be able to do that. So as part of that, there was a requirement to look at creating a joint infrastructure committee. Since then, in approximately almost 1 year later, a further dialogue occurred with the arm of East St. Paul to strengthen this agreement and specifically look at, for the short term or the immediate term, to provide low pressure sewer and water to low pressure sewer and separate water to the arm of East St. Paul to accommodate them to allow for not only lands along Henderson Highway, but other lands as possibility for future to get away from the development restrictions that are there right now due to lack of infrastructure available. We've been having several discussions with them, and a draft service sharing agreement has already been created. But as part of this, we needed to discuss about creating the infrastructure committee. So the Joint Infrastructure Committee was to be made up of 2 councillors from each municipality along with administration staff. There was a brief discussion about it while we were doing the internal negotiations, and we had identified 2 councillors with the discussion with council, but we were bringing that forward to see if those 2 councillors are still interested and to put forward this Joint Infrastructure Committee. What I can give you as good news is that as part of this, we've been able to negotiate with the arm of East St. Paul, so any works that would be done would be incurred either by East St. Paul or any developer or anyone that's utilizing that. They're looking at some imminent development opportunities, as well as we've had discussions with CEMR for their right-of-way to run those infrastructures. As an example, the sewer infrastructure right now for the arm of St. Clements runs along the CEMR railway. So they would be connecting from East St. Paul to the Donald Road lift station. And they would become users, but they'd be responsible for putting in that infrastructure. Now, the other
and
option...
paying for the right to put it there?
Yeah, well, that'll be part of the negotiations with CEMR and then the arm of East St. Paul. There would be a cost, obviously, for an easement with CEMR, like we received when we ran the lines from Donald all the way to East Suffolk. And so But CMR is open to that as well. CMR has also given verbal indication that they don't see a major issue, but will receive, once we send all the details over to them, including a formal letter. And we're looking to run water on the other side of the tracks to all the way up to East St. Paul from Lockport, where the water lines are today. And so our plan is to move to that part of the agenda. And so with that, we're recommending that with the draft resolution to move forward with sharing infrastructure and services for water and sewer with the arm of East St. Paul and the creation of the joint infrastructure committee in order to complete that part of the project. Now, when the final service sharing agreements are completed, they'll obviously come back to both councils. My understanding is both councils are reviewing this creation of the joint infrastructure committee at the same time, so they'll be looking at it this evening as well during their council meeting.
Okay, any questions? If you have a resolution, if you could bring it forward, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Where am I here? Whereas the rural municipalities of St. Clements and East St. Paul have identified opportunities for regional infrastructure sharing and have passed resolutions and are entering into agreements to support collaboration. And whereas shared planning and oversight are necessary for the successful implementation of major infrastructure projects, therefore be it resolved that Council commits to working together and hereby authorizes the establishment of a joint infrastructure committee composed of the CAOs, administrative staff, and 2 council representatives, each from both St. Clements and East St. Paul, to oversee the planning and implementation of the shared major infrastructure projects. The Joint Infrastructure Committee will report back to Council with assessment of technical, financial, and environmental aspects of connecting East St. Paul to St. Clements water and wastewater. Next, establishment of a wastewater and water servicing partnership with a fair and equitable cost-sharing model for both initial infrastructure investments and ongoing operational costs, and then collaboration of joint funding applications for provincial and federal infrastructure grants to support the shared services projects, and development and finally a development of a governance agreement outlining clear decision-making processes, operational responsibilities, and dispute resolution mechanisms for the shared infrastructure. Be it further resolved that Councillors Scott Spicer and Robert Belanger are appointed to the Joint Infrastructure Committee.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, second, please. Second, please. Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Councillor Strang, is your computer not working? No. Okay.
I just have one.
What's that?
No, her computer's working, it's just she can't see my screen.
Oh, okay.
And neither can Councillor Sutherland. I'll try to work on that afterwards, or anyone else.
Yeah, see, and I went in through Catalyst, not through your,
Correct.
okay. So we are at number 8.5, board revision for 2025.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is to identify the Board of Revision and then move forward with the dates for the Board of Revision. So we have members that have been identified and for Council's approval as necessary. Resolved, Council agreed to the date of November 26, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. for the Board of Revision for 2025 assessment rolls, and if information is received in time, the added taxes under Section 326(1) of the Municipal Act. And be it further resolved that Horst Welk, Victor Coos, Gary Marshall, and Dallas Attridge to sit on the Board of Revision members for the Board of Revision being held on November 26, 2025. We did have different individuals in the past. Some of them weren't able to sit on the Board of Revision this year, so we approached 2 other members, a realtor who also used to be an ex-employee of the RM, Gary Marshall, and the other is an engineer and has worked on projects in the RM, which we could produce. And that further be it resolved that Bruce A. McDonald be appointed as chair and Shannon Fish to be appointed as secretary of the board with Rose Asham as assistant secretary to the board. And further be it resolved that the non-municipal board members be paid an honorarium of $150 for each section.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Boulanger. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, we are at,
It's 8.6, Madam Mayor.
8.6, yeah.
This is the Municipal Government Awareness Week. The Association of Manitoba Municipalities is looking to celebrate Municipal Government Awareness Week, as well as having a resolution passed for November 23rd to 29th. This, I think, is the very first one, and they plan to proclaim this week on an annual basis. And they've even given some ideas for activities and so forth, and recognition of the role municipal governments play in the day-to-day lives of our residents.
Okay.
So if you like, I can read the resolution. If there's any
Sure,
concerns.
that would be great.
So, whereas community participation in municipal elections is important, and whereas community involvement in local government decision-making is essential to healthy democratic systems, and whereas community understanding of municipal government operations and the services it provides is of primary importance to meaningful participation at the local level. Now therefore be it known that Council of the Municipality of St. Clements do hereby proclaim the week of November 23rd to November 29th, 2025 as Municipal Government Awareness Week.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazar, sorry, Glenn. Second, please, Councillor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. I see this name that's there. I don't
Yes.
know if they're on the list to present this evening, so I'm not sure that.
Yeah, I can let them know as the
Yeah.
Zoom was open already for anyone to attend.
Right.
We're letting anybody in that wants to,
Yeah.
our online meeting. So Mr. Backstead, if you are watching this, this is the first part of the meeting. The actual public hearing where most people are going to be zooming in will be held at 6 p.m. So you're more than welcome to listen in on this, but as a regular council meeting. So I'll move on to the next item, Madam Mayor. Mr. Backstead, or Ms. Backstead, Chris Backstead, if you could answer, unmute yourself. If not, Madam Mayor,
We'll continue on. I'm not sure that they wanted to listen to the whole meeting when the item that they're interested in is not till this evening. That was the only thing.
they have exited.
Okay.
Okay, I won't let anyone else, well, I can't really stop anybody.
Stop, so
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is 8.7, which is phase development and the TIF reserve account utilization. So Madam Mayor, if I could give you a bit of an update on this particular file.
yeah, please.
And Councillor Boulanger, would you like me to share this report for you to see, or you're fine with me just updating? All right.
I'm good, ECOG, I don't need to see it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so this is relating with the development of PR 212. As Council has identified through communications with the province of Manitoba, as well as through various developments that have occurred over time, that PR 212 has continued to be a safety concern to Council. In the past, Council has acquired land in order to minimize the costs or minimize the risks associated with some of the safety requirements. As well, there's been some land acquisition. There was some discussions of some tree removals in the past because that corner and the turn from Quarry onto 212 and going through 212 has always been identified as a safety concern. In that, we've looked at some design options and in the future looked at putting in a roundabout or some sort of traffic improvement, safety improvements. Since then, we've been able to engage in some preliminary designs and have had discussions. As this is PR 212, we've had discussions with the province of Manitoba. The council felt that since we are the traffic authority, we wanted to make sure that the work continued to be looked at. A tax and incremental financing option was created to not only address traffic improvements, but also safety improvements for residents in the area with sidewalks and other amenities that might be needed in order to provide safe access to all our residents. So from that, we've had some opportunities, we've had some discussions with the province of Manitoba, and we've been working with Stantec, who are the designers of the project and who did the original traffic study, and have done some of the preliminary work. We've discussed this with the province of Manitoba. We're comfortable with Stantec, working with them on this design. The province of Manitoba will work on our project team with us. And what we're looking at is putting in these traffic improvements, and it'll be done in 2 phases. The first phase will be doing a roundabout, which would also deal with some of the traffic changes that are occurring with the growth that's been occurring. And phase 2, which would be the active transportation improvements all along PR 212 and even in bridge improvements if we have capacity. A detailed proposal has been received from Stantec, and we're ready to proceed with the project, along with public consultation with the community, with the design of the traffic improvements, which we're anticipating would be a roundabout, because that was some of the things that have been done, but we want to make sure that the community has an opportunity to participate in those dialogues. This would take that into consideration. We anticipate the costs for this would be somewhere around the engineering, so this is the detailed design and engineering. We're looking at somewhere around $170,000 for design, and with geotechnical work with about another $20,000. So what I am happy to report is that right now, just with the TIF financing and the creation of the TIF for the RMS at Clements, we have about $94,000 already sitting in the TIF reserve. What we're recommending is a capital improvement reserve would cover the rest of the costs for the design of this road, and eventually the borrowing and for the design would come from the capital improvement reserve, which would be paid back by the TIF. We've done some analysis that I could certainly share with council, and obviously because it's financial data, I can't put it out there directly, but what we've seen is the growth that's occurring even with some of the multifamily just next door to us will have significant tax revenue growth that can help to pay down the debt for doing all this work without any extra cost to the RM or the taxpayer. We anticipate that even the payback could be accounted for, and even if we spread the payback over a period of time, we anticipate that the maximum amount of time without any further growth other than just the multifamily here would be within 10 years. What we're looking at is there's significant other growth that we haven't even taken into consideration as part of our conservative analysis, which is the commercial lands that are being developed on Colville, closer to Highway 59 and in the Waychuck subdivision, as well as the previous lands that have been approved for 110 units. All those would significantly increase the tax reserve for the TIF reserve, and we anticipate that we should have enough funding even if we had to do the entire work ourselves. Now, what we're recommending is the phase 2, which is a much larger project that we're recommending We applied for grants as well as worked with Province of Manitoba to help share in the funding costs. Now, the cost of the intersection improvements, we're looking anywhere from $1.5 to $2 million at this point. Could be less, could be more, but I anticipate it'll be somewhere in there.
Questions? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So the resolution you're proposing is to do phase 1 engineering, which 170, 180,000 in that range. And that's just for the traffic circle, it doesn't do engineering for the rest of Colwell?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. And we're going to use some of the TIP monies that's already there and some of the reserve monies to do the engineering. We already think that we have enough to, I guess we're planning on borrowing the money to do the actual construction.
We would be borrowing money to do the actual construction, at which point we'll also be talking to the province of Manitoba to see if they're going to participate, since it is a PRO.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. Are they being approached for the traffic circle?
They are being approached.
And our TIP money that's coming in estimated is gonna cover that already. Now, I guess if we generate more monies than what's required for that, that remains in the TIP account?
That remains in the TIF reserve until such time that all the works are complete, then it goes back into the general revenue.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there for at least 10 to 20 years, the TIF would have to stay for that long to pay that whole debt off, correct? Or-
I'll give you an example. As an example, if it costs $100 and some thousand a year to borrow the funds, if once your TIF has been generating 100,000 or so, you would say that part of the money is being devoted directly to pay for the infrastructure, and then any additional monies after that can go right back into general revenues.
Okay.
So the TIF, yes, it's still there, but it'll stop generating more revenue beyond, unless council decides to do more infrastructure to support in the area. So the intent was that Colville was going to become like a main street in the long term for the RM as a main access road.
I think the answer somewhat, because that's kind of what I was getting at. If we borrow the money, it'll probably be over 20 years. But you don't really need to pay it out of the TIF. You could end the TIF because you're increasing your tax rates that much, so.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, I want to thank Mr. Administrator for thinking out of the box, and this TIF program that we established and that he established is just a testament to seeing positive growth in our community and seeing Provincial Road 212 finally being addressed in terms of a traffic circle that hopefully will be in place by next year. The work that's gone into making this happen is pivotal, and it's council being prudent and it's council being responsible in replying and answering to the community's wants and needs of safety for this road, the community's wants and needs of infrastructure that we are providing, and it wouldn't happen without Mr. Administrator's work on this. So this is really, really good work, and it's the beginning of finally seeing Provincial Road 212, and hopefully with the province maybe cross-sharing with us, finally something being done. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anybody else have any comments?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
If Deepak could refresh my memory, what were the boundaries that this TIF?
I think it's further down.
Yeah, it's, I'll bring it up for council.
Okay.
Just trying to get my mouse working again, there we go. I provided the TIF bylaw, bylaw number 3 of 2024. So it's only been in place for 2 years, and we've already generated some $94,000 in revenue in there. That's because of the growth that's going to occur in this area. So the TIF bylaw, what it shows is these are the lands on this, in the TIF bylaw that were identified where we saw potential growth occurring in the future, and all those lands, what was the current taxes on there would continue to go to the general revenue. The intent was that there was a potential that the infrastructure upgrades would generate more development in those, and it's the incremental taxes on top. So what we've identified is the lands in East Selkirk, and you'll see Coville running along the main side. So the large box is that area with some lands that where our services are up to. Then we've identified our land in the north for the future. We didn't know how long the TIF was going to be needed, so we identified those lands as a possibility for future development if council decides to sell those lands. We haven't declared a surplus or anything, but those lands. And then we identified lands in the south, which are owned by a private developer who has shown interest in looking at converting those, and they've been identified in our development plan for residential purposes.
Okay, so the big one there, because I can't see it,
Yes.
is it's all of Colville Road, right, to the...
All of
to
Colville
Ferry.
Road,
Doesn't include anything on Ferry Road, right?
Doesn't include anything
I think it'll
west of Ferry Road. The new subdivision is included in there.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the land over here.
Ferry Road?
Just to the north of Ferry Road, where you see it sort of jutting in,
Okay.
and that includes those lands. So again, those lands, like, we did the analysis just utilizing the TIF revenues just from these lands. The advantage of the lands next door was it was RM land, so we were collecting no taxes on it. So every incremental tax increase is going directly to the TIF from that. The other lands, we were receiving some taxes. Now, if we take those into consideration, as well as the lands off of buyers that are being developed, as well as the Waychuck lands that are being
They're
expanded.
included in there too?
Correct. Yeah.
As Rob said, it was a good plan you had.
Thank you. It's worked well. And so it shows all the roll numbers and so forth. This council can reduce and increase by virtue of bylaw in the future as they see that. Okay, so for that, Madam Mayor, I have a resolution. I can bring it forward if
Please
there's no
do.
further questions. So, whereas the rural municipality of St. Clements has received a proposal for phase development of PR 212 Codell Road, including intersection and active transportation improvements, and whereas the East Selkirk TIF bylaw provides for the establishment of a reserve fund to support municipal infrastructure through incremental tax revenues, therefore be it resolved that council approves the phase development of PR 212 as proposed, authorizes the use of the TIF reserve account for eligible expenses, and approves the proposal by Stantec Consulting Limited for Phase 1 intersection improvements roundabout at PR 212 and Quarry Road. And further be it resolved that council directs the administration to monitor the TIF reserve balances and project payback using the multi-year schedule as a financial planning tool, authorize the use of the capital improvement reserve to provide interim financing for design and construction until sufficient TIF revenues are available to reimburse the reserve, direct administration to actively pursue additional grant funding opportunities to supplement TIF revenues and accelerate project delivery, and requires regular reporting to council on the financial status of the TIF reserve, project expenditures, and progress toward payback.
Moved by Councillor Belanger, second by Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, we can move on, I believe. Oh no, one more. 8.8, the holiday hours for the municipal administration and public works.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and on a regular basis or around this time of the year, we identify the holiday hours and the process as the RMs continue to be closed in between Christmas and New Year's, which requires passing through a resolution of council. And so we've identified a half day for normally the holidays that come in. So there's a half day for Christmas Eve, our Christmas Day is off, Boxing Day, as well as a half day on New Year's Eve with a New Year's Day off. And so what we're saying is those are the ones that are statutory holidays, and then on top of that, any additional days to accommodate the closure would be taken by holidays. This year's holidays would total 2.5 days for our staff to take them as holidays, and then they would be able to be off between Christmas and New Year's. And so this year, what we're looking at closing is from the afternoon of December 24th to January 2nd on the Friday. So we would open again on Friday, January 2nd. So the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th, 28th is obviously Saturday and Sunday, and the 29th, 30th, 31st, and the 1st, we would be closed. So we'll be closed from the 24th afternoon till the 2nd on January 2nd. And so we put forward a resolution to that regard, Madam Mayor. And as always, if some staff aren't able to get the holidays and they do want to come in for those days, we do make arrangements as necessary. Now, I need to always stress these are holiday scheduled, but they are contingent upon no major snowstorms or any other emergencies that the RM may have, at which point those holidays would be canceled outside of the statutory holidays.
Okay.
You're okay?
Oh, you're moving it, okay.
Okay, so resolve that council approve the following hours for the 2025-26 holiday season. Wednesday, December 24th, closed half day as per contract. December 25th, closed as per contract. Friday, December 26th, closed as per contract. Monday, December 29th, closed pending holiday bank time. Tuesday, December 30th, closed pending holiday bank time. Wednesday, December 31st, closed half day pending holiday bank time and half day as per contract. And Thursday, January 1st, closed New Year's Day as per contract.
Okay, moved by Councillor Bazarowicz, seconded by Councillor Spicer. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So just for clarity, we're open the 24th morning,
Correct.
okay, thanks.
And we'll be open the Friday on the 2nd. I'm sure some people may request that. Obviously, we'll work
Yep.
as we normally do for holiday schedules.
Anybody else,
Thank
questions
you.
or comments? Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, we are moving on now to the accounts. So the first one under our number 9 is 9.1, the closed list of accounts.
Resolve council approve the October 28, 2025 list of accounts, check numbers 25001220 to 25001286 in the amount of $617,725.10 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Horvath seconds. Any further discussion? Questions? Not seeing any hands, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, and I believe we have our financial statement for this time around.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved that the September 30th, 2025 financial statement be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, second. Councillor Belanger. Any further discussion on the financial statement? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that takes us into our communications for information. And I'm not sure, there might be something that Deepak may want to bring forward.
I'll just bring one, which is a thank you to council, to make sure council did read it, which is Whittles Point Gun Club, who had sent a thank you letter to council. Not Whittle Point's Gun Club, sorry.
No, Whittles Point.
It should be Whittles Point, not Gun Club.
Right.
We'll correct that. It was a thank you from Whittles Point for their request for the upgrade to the road and do some road works that were identified by council. So they keep it. Well, they were just very happy with the reception and the way they were able to meet with council on it.
So we never got
I don't think it has been done yet.
Is it on
to-do list?
the, yeah, Public Works, know anything about it, or?
We'll be discussing it as part of our council budget planning. Right now, what it was is council said thank you, and then we'll take it into consideration, and they were very happy with that. Obviously, we want to make sure we do something there and address some of those safety issues. But I haven't followed up with Public Works yet. I will.
Okay,
I just closed my computer here, so I'm lost.
So we're at council reports, Madam Mayor.
Okay, where am I gonna start today? I'm gonna start with Councillor Boulanger, if he has anything for his committee report today.
Madam Mayor, I have nothing to report since our last meeting, thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Strang, go ahead, please.
October 16th, I attended the Red River North Tourism. They had a tourism consultation event with there were all different levels. There was municipal, provincial, businesses, and they had different questions, had us all at different tables, and we rotated around. So with results of all these questions that they had there, they are going to be having a 3 council meeting with ourselves, City Selkirk and St. Andrews. And I think they want to get out of what do we want, the value of Red River North Tourism, and what do we want them to do for us. So that'll be coming in the future as soon as they get the results from it. This was, and Tourism Manitoba was there. The Chamber, Manitoba Chamber, Chuck was there also. There was quite a few different levels there, so. October 23rd, sorry?
He wasn't at the library, he was at the golf
Oh,
course.
the golf. Yeah, there, sorry. That's my next one, October 23rd. We did sit with Chuck from the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce. Selkirk Biz Awards. One nice thing is one of the businesses that we did submit, they won Business of the Year, Baxter Landscape. And lots of people, it was a sellout. I didn't see, they didn't really follow their program too much at all. Otherwise, a very nice evening. And October 25th, I attended with the mayor the Tommy Prince celebration over in St. Andrews in Petersfield.
Okay, anything else?
That's everything, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Thank you. All I have is the October 16th, attended the MAR Forum. I just attended the final day. I didn't go on the tours the previous day. Guest speaker was Minister of Environment, Climate Change, Moise. We had an MMSM update. That's the Multi-Material Stewardship Program. And, their intent was to take over the program for recycling. Wasn't much of an update because there's nothing that's going to happen in the near future. I'll just say it that way. They're still in progress, but there's that happening next year or the year after. I wouldn't hold my breath. It is going to happen, but they've been talking about it for quite some time, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. I attended a session on northern backhaul for bringing back recyclables on the winter roads. Their program seems to be working pretty good because in 2024 they've got 7 northern communities on their program. Compared to 2019, there was only 3 northern communities. Now they have 7. involved in, because as you know, like on the winter roads, and there's a lot of recyclables up, and so it's starting to, they're hauling more and more recyclables back. And I actually have to have a number here for Dave, just in case. Amy Smith, she's in charge of the program, and I talked with her about other haulers that go up there. She says, yeah, please. So I don't know if you're interested. No, I'll give you the
We
number.
bring some stuff back from the,
Oh, you do already? Okay, I'm gonna give you her number anyway. too.
thank you.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that, because there's a lot of stuff up there that,
They even do scrap cars back now too.
Do you?
And that stuff, yeah. They do that now. They have a baler up there. They were baling all that metal and hauling it back into cubes, like, so they can get more out. They cleaned up quite a few communities up in that island lake, like it's so close.
yeah,
So they go to one community one winter, where they'll drag all the cars to one community, they'll bail them. I guess it's a baler, and then, they haul them.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see that there's 7 communities involved in this now, as compared to 3.
The problem is, mostly with that, is the cost, eh? If scrap is up high, then they'll do it, and if it's not, they won't. They're only budgeted for so much, and it's hard to get the backhaul for them. So that's their fight.
Okay. Well, I thought it was pretty interesting. And then lastly, there was a panel discussion on something that I wasn't aware of, that they're lithium batteries, like the fires that are started from lithium batteries. I knew there was a problem with that, but I didn't know it was that great and how dangerous they are. They'd had shots, movies that they show, like you just, if you just drive over one with anything heavy, it automatically explodes. Not just 1 out of 10, every time you do something with this lithium battery. And that's why a lot of times it put them in their garbage cans. And if something happens to, you're probably not gonna have that in your house, but it could. It has happened. There was 2 or 3 clips that they showed, like right in the house, where they just all of a sudden catch fire and explode. It was really interesting. And it's not if, it's like they do, as soon as they're driven over, or if you hit it, it explodes.
Councillor Boulanger, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just have a question for Councillor Sutherland.
Okay, go ahead.
Dave, do you know, has there ever been talk on putting more of a monetary value on more recyclables? I know you talked about the north, and I remember driving north on number 6 highway to the north, and that ditch, and many other ditches, but predominantly that one I remember, was glowing in the sunlight with recyclable materials like cans and plastic 2-liter bottles and whatever. If the province put a bigger monetary value on that stuff, I will guarantee you people will be on their hands and knees picking it up because they're going to get remunerated for it. Because we don't have any monetary value on that, it will continue to be thrown in the ditches and left there. So my question is, have you ever heard the province trying to adopt more things like Alberta and BC, where they take wine bottles, plastic bottles, 2-liter bottles? That's my question.
No, I haven't, Rob, and as a matter of fact, that question again was brought up at the MAR forum to some of the officials that were there. And it's just, as you said, like you go to Saskatchewan and there's like milk jugs and whatever have you. There's a rebate, you get money back. And in Manitoba, they don't. And that question again, last year that question was put to them, probably the year before, I'm not sure, I can't remember that, but, and this year the same thing. Why don't we have the same programs as they have in Saskatchewan. And I think Alberta too, I'm not sure.
Ontario.
And unfortunately, the officials that were there couldn't give an answer. So, and we've all heard this many times, I'm sure each of us have. You know, why don't they? And I can't tell you, Rob. And the answer, there was no concrete answer at the Mark Forum either. But it was brought up.
Okay, anything else, Councilor Sutherland?
No, that's it.
That's it for you? Okay. Councilor Horbus?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Nor do I.
Councilor Bazarowicz, Councilor Spicer?
I guess I get to use their time.
That's what I just said.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. October the 14th, I had a Manitoba Association of Watersheds meeting. Just a few highlights. They are lobbying the province to increase fundings to watersheds. Like the province has increased funding, but it's because there are more watersheds now. They haven't increased the amount. Like the formula has never changed in 20 years. And I guess the point that's being made is if watersheds have to go back to the municipalities and ask for more money, then it should not just be the municipalities paying more, the province should pay their share. So that's one of the things they're working on. Manitoba Habitat Conservancy, they are a funder, but there are some challenges that are taking place. The biggest challenge is they don't have any producers that are represented on their funding boards. They're all experts, but none of them are farmers. So, yeah, you can be experts in the field, but I guess the question is where is your grassroots information coming from? One of the things also that was discussed is recently in the news, the province brought out their net zero plan. And actually a lot of what watershed districts are doing fits into that net zero plan. For example, regenerative agriculture. And so I think there needs to be some communication there. Also, there is supposed to be a water strategy coming out, and we haven't heard much about that. They are going to have a booth at the AMM convention, so I invite council to drop in. You can meet and find out some more information about the association. Winnipeg River area is looking at forming a watershed. So that would be on our boundary, I guess, with our watershed. October the 15th, we had Red River Planning District meeting. It's our regular meeting. I guess the one thing to highlight would be we do have a strategic plan update in process. I believe that there was a questionnaire that was sent out to all council, so I invite you to pass on your thoughts. And one of the things that we talked about also was we're working with the Q Alert system with them. And I just brought up that, you know, they're looking at now the first part of the year for implementation, and I just mentioned that you might want to have a chat with the staff here, because that's a pretty busy time of year for us, doing budget and audit, so there needs to be some coordination made there. Also, that day I attended a rotational grazing tour with the Watershed District. Pretty interesting. You know, it's kind of amazing what they're doing with just different kinds of seeds into their land. I guess my backyard, I thought some of them were weeds, but actually they're good for cattle. So. I did tell them I didn't see any Russian thistle though, so obviously that's the difference between my backyard and these places. So it was good because you got to talk to the farmers about what's working, what isn't, the challenges they're facing. And of course, some of that can be funded through the Watershed District, setting up rotational grazing. And then we had, on the 16th, we had a regular Watershed District meeting. We're looking at indigenous partners. There is provision for it in the Act. We do have the Broken Head integrated watershed management plan that needs to be done starting next year, which would include plans around the Broken Head Reserve. So it would be good to have someone represented there. Northeast Regional Health Committee meeting, holy cow, there was a lot of stuff here. A few things that haven't changed is still the challenges with having enough people employed to provide service. Beausejour had a big challenge recently because 4 doctors left, but they have found 4 new ones, so they're starting right now. Yeah, there's still challenges with nursing too, but they are doing some training through Assiniboine Community College, but that's for LPNs. I'll leave that one. That same day, the 16th, at a Gaynor Regional Library meeting. There's not a whole lot there. It was just a regular meeting, other than we approved the budget, so you'll be receiving that as per required shortly if you haven't already. We had a Manitoba Association of Watersheds Finance meeting, and that is just to finalize up the audit. And then on October 22nd, we had a regular planning district HR committee meeting. And you can answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, anything for Councillor Spicer? Okay,
Mine is kind of brief. I had a few things going on, but of course I just have it in my phone today, so. October the 15th, we had a JQ board meeting, and I ended up having to chair that meeting because the chair wasn't able to be there, so it was kind of thrown at me at the last minute. But our auditors were there to present and review the financials for all the JQ boards. A number of items were discussed and for all the entities of the JQ board. And then, I guess I'm gonna say that because we are doing some interviews next week and it is out there, Colleen Sklar has resigned from the JQ board. So, she will be leaving and she's prepared the info and it's going to be a senior leader for the organization. October 15th, the regular RRPD meeting. October the 16th, Councillor Strang spoke about the Red River North tourism. October the 22nd, I was invited by Mayor Johansson and the Record to join them for a congratulatory, I guess I would call it a photo op for the Enjoy Cafe in Selkirk. It's right next door to James Bazan's office. And so we went to do that. A very nice gal, I didn't realize, but I'll get back into that in a sec. October the 22nd, Councillor Spicer said that we had the RRPD special meeting. October the 23rd, we had a CPR meeting, and I joined virtually. I was not going to drive in that day. Councillor Strang reported on the Selkirk Biz Awards, but there was one thing I was going to add was for the Best Community Spirit of the Year award, we were the ones that were presenting it, and it was presented to the Enjoy Cafe. And later when I spoke to her, they're actually, even though their business is in Selkirk, they reside in our municipality, so I thought that was kind of neat. Very nice lady. They've immigrated from the Ukraine a number of years ago, and they're really trying to get involved in the community, which was good to see.
Craving food?
No, right now, because there's no commercial kitchen there, she just has different coffees and teas and sandwiches, soup sandwiches and dainties, so.
Is that on Main Street?
No, it's right on Manitoba, right next to James Bazan's office. There's the MMF office is there, and then there's a couple of others, and then James.
The old McCullough building?
No, one over.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, along with Councillor Strang, we attended the Tommy Prince ceremony and celebration, celebrating his 110th birthday in his birthplace in St. Andrews. So we attended that one on Saturday. I ended up having to leave a little bit earlier, and I think Councillor Strang, did you end up staying for the, I guess they call it the, what did they call it? Feast. They called it, yeah. That's okay. And I think that's all I have, so I'm gonna hand it over to Deepak if there's nothing, no questions or anything.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The CAO report, I want to start off by saying that the service tracker report, because we've upgraded to the recent service tracker, I want to make sure that all of the reports, the enterprise solution, are working properly, so I'll provide September and October at the next meeting. In the meantime, I did provide some other information that's worthwhile. So the St. Clements Activity Center negotiations have completed in regards to the delay costs and the works to, and the delay costs and works, and to complete we're working on a settlement has been reached, which the contractor is paying 50% of the asphalting parking lot costs. The project continues to be on budget, and in fact, we are now able to complete the asphalting of the parking lot along with lighting within the same budget that was approved at $2018. We expect the parking lot to be complete this week. We are hoping to have it complete at the end of that last week, but unfortunately the rains have kind of slowed down asphalt placement all over. And but they are expecting to be back. They did prep the property over the weekend. I can report that I went to the site and took a look at, and most of the work has been completed, especially the gym. It looks fantastic. There's some great work done, and some additional work is being done for site works. And I authorized the ability to do sodding at the end of this year. I know it's late in the year, we still have the guarantee for the sod for next year, but it should finish the site up properly, and I think it's the best move we can make. They also took on 50% of the cost for that sodding because they felt it was important to get it done. And what it does is to make sure, because our playgrounds are near the site, and seating in the spring would have caused some challenges with children wanting to play at the playground, and muddy grounds all around there.
Sodding's
It'd be nice if you
pretty
could have done this
decent
year.
sodding, I think.
Yes, yeah. And so I think we're in very good shape. We're moving forward with that project. I'm hoping to do a council tour in the very near future with it, maybe next week. And we can take a look at it and see, and you'll see some of the design elements and so forth, and how well it's working out. And I think it's a great looking facility for, especially for a project that we've brought under budget. So we expect the asphalting of the East Soccer Fire Department parking lot to be completed this week, if no further weather delays occur. Again, we've been running into some weather delays, and they were ready to go this week, but my understanding is our contractor, Fast Brothers and
Maple Leaf.
Maple Leaf, thank you. Maple Leaf is still got the asphalt machines working, and as you saw today, they're already asphalting next door to us,
Yeah, here.
and so there's some opportunities to get some good complete work. So next is we're continuing discussions on the service sharing with East St. Paul Water and Sewer, and I can share some more, which are the negotiations. And as I mentioned, CEMR has been great to negotiate with, and they've been working really well with us. As well, I can happily report that CEMR has given us permission to finish up Donald. Now the challenge is to get that done so that we'll be done in the spring. So the questions that have been raised by many of our residents has been, Donald has been completed, but there is a section of gravel going up to the tracks and a section of gravel coming down to the tracks, which is CEMR land. And in order for us to be able to asphalt it, we needed their permission to enter there and do work on their land. They've given us that permission, and we'll be able to do it. Unfortunately, because of timing issues, we're looking at probably in the spring to do it. But I can, if there's any questions, yes, it will be completely asphalt. Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't want to do it while the.
Different contractors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they might be able to kind of deal between them, right?
I'll ask.
I just thought the machines are there, right? If they're gonna be doing, it's two little pieces on either side,
Correct.
yeah.
Rather than pulling a whole other set of machinery.
Has somebody been awarded that work or no?
That work was awarded through Fast Brothers for their work on things, so I'll have to verify if it was pulled out of that works or not, and I'll check. So, summary of the activities for the month are, along with that, water and sewer capacity analysis has been completed with WSP. We have the capacity. The only challenge is on the sewer side is that we will need to upgrade in the near future. And one of the things is that the septage has been the biggest impact on our sewer. And that has been because of the growth in West St. Paul and the growth in St. Andrews. And because of their low pressure sewer system that's going to the city of Winnipeg, our challenge has been, we are the cheaper option for septage compared to the city of Winnipeg where they could take it to. I've talked it over, and so I'll bring it to council if it becomes an issue. What we would make as a decision is that we would only receive septage from St. Clements and East St. Paul. And we would say, if we had to, because those are the ones that are on our pipe systems. And if the other ones are on the city of Winnipeg's pipe systems, they can go to the city of Winnipeg.
You don't want the truck haulers.
The truck haulers.
How would you monitor that?
It would be somewhat honorary, but we would hold it.
100%. Yeah.
There's another way, is And maybe you're doing it now as a license, you need a license.
Correct.
Then you can monitor, it's still on honor, but you can monitor.
We could challenge them, to show us bills and so forth. There are ways of checking on it, there are ways of reducing it, and there are, and the plan is, with the increase in the number of users, and with our new study being done on fees and charges, we should be able to balance to the city of Winnipeg, as well as with the number of users, be able to do the upgrade to the new system for the upgrade to the lagoon, which would give us the full flexibility. And WSP is designing that, and we're having discussions with the province of Manitoba to get those approvals as well.
That doesn't involve making the lagoon bigger, it's just making
A
it
new system,
a
correct?
system.
The Lemon system or the
Just
Sager
one.
system,
I
yes.
thought so, I just wanted to check.
To pay for that new system, would increase our rates anyways, right?
Correct. The utility should be able to pay for the new system, and with the increase in the users, the intent is that those buy-in fees help to pay for that increase in design. Correct.
Question.
Go ahead, Councillor Nazarowicz.
If we're gonna be sharing services with East St. Paul, how do we determine our rates? Are we gonna do a rate study, and is it gonna be a flat rate per home, or?
The rates will be determined on the connections that are there, and that'll be done in the rate study. Our rate fees are what will be charged to the users in East St. Paul. The issue will be on the collection. Do we collect it from East St. Paul? Who collects it from their residents?
So which rate we have, a couple of different rates?
That's why we're doing the rate study.
Well, we are presently doing
Correct.
a rate study
We
right
will
now.
be doing the rate study, correct.
And when do we think that'll be done?
I want it done before the end of the year if I can. Or early in the new year at minimum.
And when do we foresee hooking up East St. Paul?
Probably, it could be, East St. Paul could be connected as early as next year or the year after, depending on the construction.
Not far away.
Well, they're looking at, East St. Paul would be able to run the sewer lines, the sewer force main, to the Donald Lift Station very quickly. But then they would have to then connect additional properties and have to do the laterals to that force main. On top of that, East St. Paul also wants to connect it to our 6-inch laterals along Henderson. They'd be able to do that almost immediately, once we get the servicing agreement done, because it's just running 6-inch lines along Henderson, as opposed to the CMR red line for the force main. And so they would be still responsible for the force main from their border to the Donald Lift Station. Once it hits the Donald Lift Station, we're responsible.
How big is the force main?
It'll be a 300 millimeters anticipation, but they're going through the design, which is 12-inch.
That 6-inch line goes right to our border, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
We're close enough to the border by Old River Road.
Yeah, I think it's,
Do we have any indicator, do we know how many they anticipate hooking up?
Yes, I can discuss that in camera.
Oh,
Anything else that you have?
Summary of activities for the month of August,
Okay, go
or
ahead.
sorry, September. And I should update that. For emergency response bylaw, 39 total response calls, or sorry, that's another error. That's my rush. Do this, as a matter of fact, it's really only 18 new calls.
18.
And 6 in Narrow, 3 in East Beaches and East Selkirk. And those are the charts that show that, as well as animal control, 7 complaints, dogs at large 5, that is correct on that one. Dog biting 1 of them, patrols conducted 2, cautions 5 were issued, at large were 3 dogs. The summer weekend enforcement has completed for the year and was a successful summer. And with Prairie Bylaw enforcement and our animal control, both of those enforcement programs are up for renewal this year. And so we will be bringing forward a proposal once we've had some discussions and negotiations with them for next year. And finally, the dashboard of service requests. as you can see, we're continuing to work, and it matches some of the previous months, and I will be coming back with even more detailed reports, as we've discussed in the past, now that we have the enterprise solution.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Deepak? Anything else you need to add?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Heather, do you have anything that you would like to share with us today?
No, just that I attended the soccer business awards as well. It was a very good evening.
That was a good evening.
Leslie, more interested in
Yeah, she got Businesswoman of the Year, I believe, and she's also the Citizen of the Year.
that? She says of the year.
But she also got
She's got a travel agency.
Yeah.
Business Philanthropist of the Year.
Oh, they're home, or where is it?
No, it's around the corner on McLean and Main, but it's not on Main Street, it's on
Oh, it's in that
McLean.
little loft thing at the back.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if we want to move in camera, please, and we'll continue on with some of our in-camera discussions.
Resolve council recess the regular meeting to go into in-camera to discuss legal and personal issues, and further be resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(b) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. We'll probably, as soon as the camera goes off, we'll take